Chris, how you mentioned the 3 criteria, right? It feels very much like you can only touch a few products, right? Like S&P 500. It seems like the best air quotes financial advice out there. And some of my friends, like, cause youngsters, right, suddenly all maybe there's money coming in when they start working. Then they ask me, hey, how to invest? I mean, the general, I can't give advice because I'm not licensed, but the general takeaway is always to, hey, just go and buy the S&P 500 and just let it compound for 30 years. Maybe your 60-year-old self will thank me. Then if that is the general broad-based advice, right? Then what's the role? Yeah, what's the value of Providend in this case?
Yeah. So, well, it's a very good question. And I've got clients asking me the same question in our annual client event. Now, first of all, normally we will not give advice just to buy the S&P 500, right? Because then you're just exposed to the US market. Globally, you're not diversified enough. I think there is a need to still expose to the emerging markets, right? So that's the first thing. Now, secondly, okay, let's say you buy the MSCI, ETF that tracks the MSCI or the FTSE World Index, let's say MSCI All Country World Index, for example, then you're emerging market, then that's it, just buy one ETF, then go to sleep. I can even give you the ticker to buy from Vanguard, right? So just go and sleep. Then people will ask, so what's the value of an advisor? But the truth is that it is not so simple, okay? It is not so simple for most people. You guys can probably go and do it. You go and do some research and you buy yourself, right? But you got to ask yourselves whether, are there people out there who will know what ETF to buy, that maybe they should not buy from the US exchange, but buy the UCITS version from the London Stock Exchange because of tax implication? And do they understand that there is a foreign currency conversion and find the most cost-effective platform to do so? Do they have the discipline to buy in a regular manner? And do they have the discipline to rebalance their portfolio? Do they know how to construct an asset allocation that is suitable for them? May not sound too difficult for some of us here, right? And if you feel that you're not difficult, then you don't need an advisor. But the most difficult thing that I realized over the last 20 over years is this. The hardest thing for an investor is to do nothing when the whole world is telling you do something. That is very tough. It's very tough to do nothing, right? And we put in a lot of work to do that part of the work. I think Eric sent me a question. That's the last question. I can talk a bit about that. But I explained to you that it is actually very tough to hold an investor hand to do nothing. Yeah. So I had a client that asked me, he said, Chris, we could just do this and buy. I said, you are absolutely right. If you can do all these things, please don't use me. You are wasting money on me. Save the money, you get a better returns. But we all know how to cook, right? But we still go to a restaurant and eat, right? Because sometimes we just accept the fact that even though I know how to cook, I don't want to cook. I am prepared to pay some money to get my food. So we can still exist because there are enough people out there who wants us to do that job for them, either because they have no interest, no time, no knowledge, no experience, or they rather use their time doing some other things.
Actually, I kind of wholeheartedly agree on the logic. I think everyone in the room here, we all know that passive investing is the way to go. But I don't know why everybody's hand very itchy, still like to touch individual stocks also. I think that's a very interesting phenomenon.
Yeah. How many of you have children here in the room?
All of them have, except me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a lot of our clients, I have got quite a number of clients whom they are very savvy. And when they come to us, their reason is, Chris, I'm just too busy. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go home after my whole day of work and then sit in front of the computer and then start to put in the trades, and all that. And then next morning, wake up and see whether it's fulfilled or not. I don't want to do this. I'll pay you all to do the job for me. So that's why we still exist. And some of you, as your children grow up, you may realize that whilst you have a lot of interest in investing, there will come a point in time whereby you feel like you have to just outsource, or it doesn't make sense to try and do it on your own.
Yeah. I'm curious, the part you say, the hand holdings, right? Do you have any examples of what you do to help your clients, just stay on, do nothing?
Yeah.
They're facing you I'm panicking. What should I do? Is that situation or?
Yeah.
Tell us a story.
So that's the last question that Eric asked me. So I jumped the gun and answered that question. Now, we do have a turbulence management plan. But this plan is too late by the time the market becomes turbulent, right? So at the onset, when we onboard a client, actually, we have really provided a lot of investment education and risk coaching. And every year when we meet the client, we have a mandatory yearly review. Every year when the client comes in, that risk coaching has already been done. Okay. From the time we onboard a client, we tell them, if you're going to invest with me, let me tell you what's going to happen. There is a possibility that you invest today, next month it's going to crash. If you can't take it, then probably you're not suitable for investing. Okay. We liken the journey that our clients have with us like taking a flight. We are quite certain that 99.9% of the time, the plane is going to land. But you are going to be faced with turbulence. I just do not know when it's going to happen. But when it happens, you'll be sure that we'll be there to put on the seatbelt for you and give you all the instructions. So we tell them all this, right? And we give them the evidence to show them that the market is going to recover. Even the good year, in 2021, when the market returned 21%, the S&P I think was 26% in 2021, year ending 2021, the clients were also happy. Right? And then we said, I don't want to spoil your fun, but I want to tell you that this does not happen every year. Please be prepared, next year might crash. Every time we tell them the same thing, right? But then when it crashed, we tell them, this is the mindset you need to adopt. You should be very happy because when the time crash, that's where you use your dry powder and you can go and buy some, right? So you do the financial education on a year-to-year basis. We do the risk coaching. We are preparing for the day whereby the market will crash like 2022. And then when it really crashed, we have a set of procedures that we practice a few times a year. It's like, all of us are guys here, like, you know, mobilization, right? We actually practice, we have open mob and silent mob. No kidding. So we will practice, and actually the whole firm goes into action, not just the client advisor, the brand team, the ops team, the investment team. There is a whole set of procedures that talks about at what time the CIO will trigger the call, what time our advisors come back for briefing, by what time the email goes out. They're all drawer plans. Some of them are pre-written, right? And then before that, they have segregated their clients on which set of clients they must call first, which set of clients they will WhatsApp, which set of clients needs to sit in for a review. And there are different trigger points. When the market falls by 10%, 15%, 20%, what are the messages that we are saying? And we practice them, right? And in our practice, we also practice difficult clients. I say, hey, you know, I just put my money with you, now drop already, you know. So we practice, right? And obviously, I think it has worked for us because in 2022, we had zero panic redemptions. We have normal redemptions, people who need it for their staff, but we had zero panic redemption. 2022 was a net positive year, which means to say we have more subscription than redemptions. Yeah, so that's how we basically hold their hands. So pre-flight, so-called, a lot of education, risk coaching along the way. When it happens, a set of procedures to basically hold the clients.